New email shows Fauci advisor suggesting he destroyed records. No, not Anthony Fauci. No, he's the science. Yeah, the science. Yeah, the science doesn't seem to want to pay any attention to this, any of this stuff, do they? Nope, they're just on their racist path. I realize, the reason they're the medical and nursing associations in the hospitals, the reason they're doing this health equity thing and the whole racist thing is because then they can call anybody that calls transgenderism on children, they can call them out. Like they could say, I'm racist. No, I just know the evidence of the frontal lobe, and it's not, we don't let children drink at 10, so why would we let them go on hormones? Or why would we let them go under the knife? If they want to cut their hand off, would we let them? No. We would say that they're harming themselves. So why do we have a healthcare system that's supporting transgenderism on children? It's absolutely ludicrous, and it goes against the science. But them being on the racial path, it allows them to then say, well, you're racist. A way to silence you. Yeah, that's how corrupt they are. There's some people on the Hill, in all fairness, as much as I go off on all the sides and that are there in the swamp. But there are some people that really have been, we have many crises, right? We have the border crisis, we have the FBI and their corruption, and DOJ all corrupt, everything corrupt. But the people that have been heading up much of the health uncovering it all, one of them obviously is Rand Paul, and then the other is Ron Johnson out of Wisconsin. Yeah, he is. I just watched less than a week ago, Epoch Times carried the whole, it was like 2.5 hours, and it was maybe Madison, Wisconsin, I'm not sure, I could be wrong about where in Wisconsin, but this was in Wisconsin, and Ron Johnson was there, some pretty heavy hitters. It was a big explaining the whole way that they are using pandemics and global health to basically bypass the U.S. Constitution. Ron Johnson is a senator. Whether you like him or not doesn't matter. There's plenty of evidence for everything and it wasn't just him speaking, but he knows about this very well. In fact, in a minute I'll read, because he's one of the people like Rand Paul that's really been highlighting this. But this was 2.5 hour, it was like 2-hour presentation, and then it was 20 or 30 minutes of questions they took. And the other heavy hitter that was there, and I know I'm missing some names because there was more than that, but some people that are awake have come across Catherine Austin Fitts, right? She is the money person. She was in a presidential administration. She was, she headed up HUD. How was it? Was it HUD? I thought it was HUD. But under George Bush Sr., she was in his administration. So she knows all the money stuff. She's fascinating to listen to. But she knew this years ago. She actually, I believe it was her, and I had even emailed her because I was emailing the FBI, the White House, about the blacklisted cameras that I've mentioned in other videos that I got the serial numbers off of, all that. I'm not going to go into all that, but but I had, since I wasn't hearing back from the DOJ or FBI or Bill Barr or any of these people, and Trump had put those cameras, those Chinese telecom, the cameras went back to one of those blacklisted companies. I had ended up emailing her about it, and it was through her because she had a YouTube channel. It may still be up, but I think she was one of the people they purged because she was speaking the truth. But she knows all about the central bank, so she understood. It was her that I realized I learned about the digital ID stuff, the digital health, being tied to then the central, because she knows everything about the central bank. That's her area. She's an expert in that area. So she was there talking about how financially they're pulling this all in and basically wanting to, they're going to bypass the whole Constitution using pandemics, the Global Health Treaty, all of it. So there are some people there that are raising the alarm flags. I mean, this was a whole presentation on this. I wonder how many hospitals in Wisconsin knew about it, but their staff didn't. But that's because the people dictating the care right now are corrupt. because there's no way they don't know all of this going on. And in the past over 3 years, everything they are going along with is they shouldn't. If you are in charge of dictating the standard of care for medicine or nursing, then you would think that your main focuses would be on the crises at hand, most especially if it's in an area that you work in and you're heading up. You'd think that they'd want to highlight this to people, but no, they want to keep everybody in the healthcare system stupid. So the Department of Health and Human Services, which includes the NIH, has repeatedly failed to hand over records that Mr. Johnson, Ron Johnson, has requested, the senator noted. So this was regarding this Dr. David Morans, or Dr. Morans. What's his first name? David Morans. A top deputy to Dr. Anthony Fauci indicated in a newly uncovered email that he purposely did not keep records that he knew would be sought by the public and congressional investigators. Think about this. Ron Johnson is really over all these people. And this is how much power that the American Nurses and Medical Association have, and you didn't elect any of those people. And they are disregarding putting the focus in healthcare on any of this. That's all corruption and what does that tell you? It tells you they are likely just as corrupt. Otherwise, if they cared about health, you'd think they'd want to bring this to their medical and nursing staff's attention, wouldn't they? Nope, not a word, zip. So, yes, I'm not going to read all of this, but it says here that Mr. Ron Johnson asked for all the records. He asked for as well an outline of how federal officials will hold Dr. Morans accountable because Dr. Morans said he had retained correspondence relating to papers he wrote that were published online, but had otherwise retained no documents that might lead other members to be approached for similar document production. So he had said in an email it says here, in a missive obtained previously by the U.S. House of Representatives panel investigating the pandemic, Dr. Morans wrote to a group of scientists that, quote, I try to always communicate on Gmail because my NIH email is FOIA'd constantly. And for those that don't know, FOIA is the Freedom of Information Act. Yes, members of the public are allowed to request information like emails from the federal government. So he basically is saying, you only email me through Gmail. Yeah, corrupt. Says here, Dr. Morans disclosed in July 2021 email that his Gmail had been hacked, and until it can get fixed, I may have to occasionally email from my NIH account. Don't worry, quote, don't worry, just send to any of my addresses and I will delete anything I don't want to see in the New York Times. Unbelievable how the level and how deep this corruption goes. So, yeah, these people don't care what the American people think, and you didn't elect any of these people. And they're just all corrupt, whoever comes in behind Anthony Fauci, just as corrupt, just like whoever, they can replace as many of the people at American Nurses Association. They're still just corrupt. The infection is just through and through. And yet, I give credit to the people that, are speaking up, like even during this 2.5 hour thing in Wisconsin with Ron Johnson. They had asked a couple times, are you still filming? Are you still recording? We need it on record. Yeah. So I don't know why these people that are heading up medicine and nursing are continually just wanting to ignore this, but it really makes them look bad. And it really shows, as I keep saying, not only just a failure of leadership, but the more they continue down this path of focusing on racism and not focusing on what the public and most especially the healthcare profession should be made aware of, well, it shows that how involved are they in the corruption itself.